Bulldogs win at Chattanooga 28-10. And as we come your way live tonight from Over the Horizon Brewing, we're at 2200 Harriet Street right here in downtown. Beyond the Barracks is presented by Cutwater Spirits, and we are very, very happy to be here. Coach Drayton takes a seat next to me here. We'll give you a moment to get yourself assorted and organized, and we'll pop up Coach's headset. And hey, there's nothing like a week off after you've won a football game, huh?
Yeah, except it's not really truly off.
That's right.
Yeah, we had a lot of good work. We spent the week really working on our young guys, the development of the younger guys. We did a lot of situational football as well, which was really good for us. And then we did a lot of studies, a lot of self-studies, which we got a lot of really good feedback.
It was really a hard-fought SoCon road win. You know, you were an underdog going up there. You guys don't care about that stuff. What impressed you the most about your team's effort and execution?
Well, I'll tell you, there was a lot of things. We had a 13% chance of winning, according to Vegas.
Is that right?
Yeah. But you know, those stats don't mean anything when you have the power of belief and you put hard work behind it. That was a very interesting week. Per se. You know, Sunday after being embarrassed at home, instead of going to the practice field, I sent the guys to the swimming pool.
Yeah.
They were in the pool for about 15 minutes, kind of playing around, loosening the mood. And then I gave them a nice little speech about how, you know, this water that we're in, this chlorine, you know, it's to clean, it's a cleansing.
Right.
And sort of had a baptism, so to speak. I made everybody go under the water, and then when they came back up, you know, they were new. And Tuesday and Wednesday were really, really tough practices, really, really tough. It wasn't for the faint of heart. And then, you know, Thursday, by that time, we got guys questioning, like, wow, is this what I really want to do? But those who stayed, those who bought in, was able to reap the benefits of a big, big win, and we're excited about that.
Your defense really set a nice early tone with that 3-and-out. Yeah, they went down the field and they score on their opening possession. You know, that left Lee and I upstairs going, oh, man, what do we got here? But your defense really clamped down after that and got that critical 3-and-out to set you up to go down and score your first points. What adjustments did you make after the opening series defensively, if any, or was it just a matter of better execution and guys being where they're supposed to be?
Well, actually, yeah, you're exactly right. They marched right down the field and score, but offensively helped our defense because offensively we matched it. We went down the field and we scored. So doing that, you know, our defense was like, okay, hey, offense came to play. We better step it up. So I think just that confidence and the execution, right, executing is what brought us over the top.
Offensively, it was a thing of beauty for two old option guys like Lee and I to watch. You know, we had been talking about this for a couple of weeks. I know that some of the comments you've made with the media and this and that, yeah, you know, you look and see what you've got, and why not? It spreads them out, and you know what? It still is really hard to stop. It makes you account for every inch of the field. Why not? Yeah,
when you're executing on all cylinders, it is hard to defend, and we were able to score touchdowns on our first 3 drives. That fourth drive, we actually had a chance to kick a field goal and missed it. The last time that's been done around here, you know, I can't think back that far when you're able to score on your first 4 drives. So that was really big for us. Also, I'll tell you what was big. We had 4 drives with 10 plays or more.
Right.
So anytime you can do that, that's showing repeated execution on the field. We also had 6 drives with over 50 yards in those drives. So you talk about field position and making your opponent have to travel the distance. We did a really, really good job with that.
So Kobe starts the game for you. Nobody really knew, except maybe you guys, what was happening there. But Kobe starts the game for you, plays really well, gets shaken up in the game. Quentin comes in, plays really well for you, gets shaken up. Kobe comes back, and it was the quintessential, for lack of a better word, operating an offense with 2 quarterbacks and doing it at a high level throughout the game.
Absolutely. You know, it's a tale of resilience. It's a tale of perseverance. Both these guys were beat up, banged up, and they have some legitimate things going on, but they kept fighting back, and they wanted to be there with their brothers and be there with and lead our team, and they did just that.
Offensively, your ground game obviously was far more balanced and efficient. You guys ran the ball effectively with your running backs. I know that's something you've been striving for the entire year. What did you see from the O-line and the backs that stood out in this game?
Well, Mike Bartolucci did a great job leading the offensive line. And then at the tight end position, Saul Diaz, he did a great job. And I told Saul, it was like watching a heavyweight fight. Like, he would hit that linebacker in the mouth, and the linebacker would hit him in the mouth. It was old school Rocky Balboa, maybe version 2,
right.
Versus Apollo. And I tell you, man, I told Saul at the end of the game, I really enjoyed watching him battle tonight. So you got your leader, Mike Bartolucci, with the offensive line doing just that. You have your leader at the tight end position doing that. You have no choice but to open up holes for our running backs when those guys are fighting like that.
Special teams really made some key plays for you guys again. How important was that field position battle to pulling out the win?
Yeah, well, special teams is the glue to it all. Special teams binds offense and defense together, and anytime we're cranking on special teams, we're going to win the hidden field position battle, and that's what a lot of people lose sight of. If you can win the hidden field position battle, you're going to find yourself playing with a half-court offense and full-court defense, and anytime you get that opportunity, that will increase your chances of winning.
You look back at that win, what would you say is the biggest sign of growth maybe that you saw in this team with the way they went up there, handled their business, and the result that they got? And now I guess more importantly, how does it carry over?
So growth in that they understood that, you know what, I don't have to be the little brother anymore. It's okay to go in somebody else's yard, somebody else's playground, and impose your will on another team. And I'm just proud of the guys for doing that. Now we have to keep doing it.
Right. And you take on a D2 opponent this Saturday, but it's not anybody's D2 opponent. This is Valdosta State, who went 13-1 a year ago. They're an annual championship contender at the Division II level. We'll get into them a little bit more, as we go. But as it is, another example on this schedule that there are no gimmies.
Oh, it's a rugged schedule. I mean, that one loss that you're talking about was in the national championship game, which they lost closely.
Right.
So, my friends, when the schedule came out, when my friends looked at the schedule, they gave me a call and said, "Hey, Mo, are those guys trying to fire you down there? You don't schedule Valdosta State as your out of conference game." And we'll talk a little more about them, but their program, the bones of their program, the DNA of their program, is championship.
Right.
It's winning. And we'll talk about some of the coaches that has come from there. It's a long line of a who's who.
Right. And, looking at them and then going and watching some film on them that I've been able to get, they're really not a whole lot different than a lot of what you see in the SoCon every week either.
Absolutely not. Their offensive and defensive line is huge. They're bigger than Sanford. These are large human beings with length and girth. Now, they may not move as good as some of the guys in
right.
the SoCon, but they're still big. Anytime you have large human beings, right, they're able to move mass, and they're able to move human beings. So we're going to have to be on our A game dealing with their guys up front.
This is Beyond the Barracks. We are live tonight at Over the Horizon Brewing. It is presented by Cutwater Spirits. I'm Brian Giffen with the head coach of the Citadel, Maurice Drayton, as the Dogs get prepared to take on Valdosta State. Yeah, the Blazers are coming to town this Saturday. That's a 2 o'clock kickoff at Johnson Haygood, and we'll be on the air in case you can't get out there. And I encourage you to get out there. But if you can't, heck, even if you can, bring your radio with you and join us at pregame coverage at 1 o'clock on the Citadel Bulldogs radio network. Right here, we will step aside and take a break. On the other side, we'll bring Barry Casterlin and Saul Diaz up here. We'll talk a little bit about the intricacies of playing tight end at the Citadel.
Yes, sounds great. I like that plan.
All right, man, so we will do that next. Back with more after this. You're listening to Beyond the Barracks on the Citadel Bulldogs radio network. And we're back on Beyond the Barracks. I'm Brian Giffen. Coach Drayton is in the house also. Jay Sullivan, a host of Citadel dignitaries, including the one, the only Art Chase in the building also. as we move along here in segment 2 of Beyond the Barracks. Dogs get ready to take on Valdosta State, and they, of course, are 1 week removed from, well, last Monday we called it Victory Monday. So since there hadn't been a game since then, I guess we'll just turn around and call this Victory Monday again. Our guest now is Barry Casterlin, the tight ends coach at the Citadel, and we're going to talk tight ends extensively. First, going to visit with Barry, then we're going to hand it off to Saul Diaz, and we're going to talk with one of your tight ends, but satisfying game on a lot of fronts.
Oh, it certainly was. We played pretty well offensively, and the tight ends ended up with some pretty big plays. Coach Danny Lewis does a great job with the tight ends, and I'm there to assist him. So,
right.
Kind of helping out with the offense all over the place and doing a little bit more with the wide receivers this year than I did last year, but still getting involved mostly with the tight ends.
I'll tell you what, you reach down sometimes and you see what's down there. I mean, this looked like one of those games for you guys because you come off that game against Mercer that was an awful ball game. There wasn't much to take with you to remember from that other than just it ended. Let's move on from it and get better from it. But what do you suppose sparked the turnaround in this game? Was it a level of determination coming off that and not wanting to feel that? What was it?
It was a combination of a lot of things. You know, we dug down, we got some confidence, and we talked all week about having an alter ego and just going through and finding something in our personality deep down that was a little bit different, just a switch that we could change on. And that's what the guys did. They really had some success early. I think that we did pretty well offensively and made some stops defensively, and it just kind of spurred on. We had that confidence going into that game and finished up pretty well.
Honestly, Lee and I are both, and I guess it just speaks to generationally, you know, our backgrounds is, but both of us are big fans of the option. And, you know, the way that the games had gone, we struggled to do much on the offensive side. Lee and I have been looking at each other going, gosh, why don't we run more options? Why don't we run? And, you know, then, of course, we started kicking it around, talking with some of the guys. But sure enough, I mean, you guys know, as you guys know better than we do, the personnel you have. And it sure seemed like that was run very, very well. You guys obviously have put a lot of work into that.
It is something that we do every practice and pregame, and the option is what we are based off of.
Right.
And they just gave us some looks that were conducive to what we were running offensively. So it worked out pretty well, and guys executed the game plan, and it was pretty successful for us. So, you know, success in the option breeds more success in the option. Once you start doing things defensively, they change things up and they give you different things.
Right.
So it was really good for us.
Well, the other thing that it's done is it's put that now on tape, and that's out there for everybody has to prepare for you the rest of the year, and they had already whatever they were preparing for prior to it, so now you've got more arrows in the quiver.
Hopefully that's the way it's going to look. If they think they're going to stop the option, then we'll come out and give them something else.
Right.
We'll give them a counter or throw the ball downfield. But if they're going to try and come at us and stop the option, put all their eggs in one basket with that, then we'll attack them in a different way as well.
You do extensive work with the tight ends. You do extensive work with and around the offensive line also. It was a good ball game for really that group.
It really was. And, you know, Philip Gard does a great job with our offensive line. We got Darwin Murillo back at the offensive tackle spot, and that allows us to really kind of do more things on the offensive line and not be stressed as much as that position. So we feel good with going in with 5, 6, 7 guys on that offensive line every game now.
I got one more for you, and I'll have you hand it off to Saul. But when you look ahead now at Valdosta State, what do they do defensively? What do you see as the big challenges you guys will have to overcome? What are some keys for you that you guys will have to do well to get the desired result against them?
Well, you know, they are they did play in the playoffs in Division II last year. They are a very good team. I coached in that conference before in Georgia. So the Gulf South Conference is a very good Division II conference. And they've got athletes out there, and they'll move around, they'll fly around the ball. I've coached against that defensive coordinator when he was at Kennesaw State as well, and that was one of the fastest defenses that I've ever encountered.
Right.
So we just know that they're going to be fast flying around the ball. They're going to have a lot of energy coming into our stadium, Johnson Haygood Stadium, and playing in front of our fans, all those people there. So there's going to be a lot of energy in the game, and we just have to get out to a good start. We got to play fast, start early, and just go and attack them.
All right, so before I have you hand this off to Saul Diaz, give me, from a coach's point of view, a couple of quick comments on Saul.
Saul's great. He's like having a third coach in that tight end meeting room right now, and we joke a little bit with Saul about him. All right, Saul, now what's your take on this as a coach when you're going to be coaching next year somewhere in a high school in South Carolina, hopefully, if there's any coaches out there listening.
Right.
We want Saul to be that next guy there. But it's great having Saul and Whit Hobgood and Caden Swartz. All three of those guys play for us and do a great job. And they've all got their strengths out there, and it's easy to put any one of them out there to go play for us. So it's great having Saul and having that experience at the tight end position. And also, he came in on the defensive side of the ball.
Right.
So he knows what the defensive guys are going to do and how they're going to react. It's great to have that kind of chess player that will see what the other guy's going to do on the opposing side. So it's been a blessing for us, definitely.
Barry, really appreciate it. We'll look forward to talking to you more as the season unfolds.
Thanks, Brian. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. That's Barry Casterlin, assistant coach at the Citadel. He'll hand Saul the headphone here as we sail along here in segment 2 of Beyond the Barracks. We're live tonight at Over the Horizon Brewing. We're at 2200 Harriet Street. And, man, a moment ago, the heavens opened up out there, and it absolutely poured. So guess what? If you're out there driving around, just stop in here and hang out with us. We're talking Citadel football until 7 o'clock. This is Beyond the Barracks, and joining us now is Dogs tight end Saul Diaz. And I'll echo the same thing for you. Now, you've been around here a long time, and you've played a lot of SoCon games. Hadn't had the opportunity, I don't think, to enjoy a win over Chattanooga. So it was probably
once.
Okay. Well, the second
my sophomore year.
The second one had to be better.
Yes.
Right, so
way better.
What are your thoughts when you look back to the game? Obviously, they come out, they go right down the field. You know, you're on the road, you're coming off a tough game at home. They go right down the field on you, and offensively, you guys knew you had to respond.
Man, I think just showing up, I had a different feeling about our offense. I just felt, connected with everyone, and I think that showed. We didn't have a lot of missed assignments. Guys were hitting their blocks. Guys were running for a long time. So we ran for 230 yards. So, man, it was awesome. It was one of the better games I think I've been a part of for Citadel.
Confidence is such a big thing, man, with what you guys do out there. Was there a moment early in this game of play or something that happened that kind of made everybody just, okay, let's go get them here?
I think the first play, when Kobe broke that big run, it was like a sigh of relief. We got our first down. We got past midfield, and it was like, all right, now we can settle down, we can run our offense, and we can execute.
What do you think about that option? I mean, obviously, in your role, it is a little bit of a complex thing that you have to do because you're out there near that end that has to be read. Just talk a little bit about, your thoughts on that offense and your role in it.
So the triple option, man, it's 11 moving parts, and if one guy's off, it throws the whole thing off.
Right.
So you got to have continuity with the whole offense, and you got to trust that the person next to you is going to do their job.
How much communication is there on the field between you guys? And obviously there's going to be in the huddle. How much communication is there, and how well prepared, how drilled into it was you guys? I know you run off option concepts anyway, but how drilled into you guys was it last week prior to that game getting ready for it?
Man, I think the Chattanooga's week of preparation, I think from Tuesday to Thursday, there was just a different level of focus. We knew we had to win that game. We knew it was going to be tough. It was on the road. Nobody expected us to win. So I think Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, everyone was dialed in. We knew what we had to accomplish. And like I said, once Saturday came and we walked for pregame, it was just a different feel in the air.
So now you got Valdosta State coming in, and obviously it's a Division II opponent, but it's not just anybody's Division II opponent. A really, really tough assignment. You're back home. You guys haven't played particularly well at home. A lot of motivation based on that alone, I would guess.
Yes. Valdosta State, you turn on the film, they look like a team that's won a lot of championships. They play championship football. They're athletic. They're fast. They're strong. And, across the board, they're going to do their job. You can tell by their resume that they've won a lot of football games.
You've been around the Citadel a long time now. You've had a lengthy career in the football program. What are some highlights when you look back over it? What are some big moments that stand out to you that had to be – one of them had to be winning that first game last year after the 0 for the year before?
Yes, that Charleston Southern game, that was a big one. Just the way the game was, we were down 21-3, and just how we came out and just completely dominated the second half, just how we did it. I would say also, too, my sophomore year, my first start against Furman, I had a sack and a fumble recovery on the first drive in that game. That was definitely another memorable moment for me. And then just winning the trophy games. I think the trophy games, they mean a little bit more, you know, the Woffers, the Wofford, VMIs, and those sort of games. So the trophy games mean a little bit more, too. So
honestly, you know, closing thing with you here, but so the Sanford game is one of them. Yeah, you guys got them last year, but this Chattanooga game, it had been a stretch where you guys have not fared that well against some of these SoCon opponents, so there's got to be an element of, oh, yeah, we owe these guys. Yeah. And you take that out there with you. That's another chip on the shoulder, isn't it?
I would just say, like, you look at our team, we've got a bunch of just old guys. So what you were talking about, like, knowing that, you know, we owe these guys and just coming together, like I said, coming together on that Saturday against Chattanooga, that Saturday against Sanford, and just putting it all together. Having those old guys definitely help, and having guys like me in the locker room who've seen it, you know, 3-4 years, and Mike Bartolucci, Jamazin Roberts, I can go down the list. Like, those guys, we've seen it, we've done it. Now we got to bring the young guys with us and get the whole team together.
All right, last thing, I promise. How do you take that? How do you carry the momentum over coming off the bye?
Man, just zero. We're 0-0 right now. We're looking for one win this week, and I think if we do that every single week for the next 7 weeks, we just go 1-0. So nothing else matters this week except Valdosta State. We go 1-0 this week. We go 1-0 next week against Western, and we just keep that approach. I think we'll be all right.
You got a heck of a future in coaching, man. I've heard that a lot over the years.
Thank you.
Saul Diaz, my man,
yes,
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Bulldogs tight end, spending time with us here in this segment on Beyond the Barracks. And stay with us here. We'll come back. We'll talk with Kris Cutt. We'll talk a little bit about track and field. We'll also talk about the Citadel Hall of Fame. That induction is coming up before too long. And a little bit later, we'll bring Coach Drayton back up here, and we'll set the scene for this Valdosta State game. You are listening to Beyond the Barracks, and you're doing so from Over the Horizon Brewing at 2200 Harriet Street downtown here, right off Rutledge and right off I-26. Still got about a half hour to talk football. Swing by here if you can. Otherwise, we'll be back in just a moment. You're listening to the Citadel Bulldogs Radio Network. We're back at Beyond the Barracks. We're back at Over the Horizon Brewing, where rain is falling outside. Hey, it's really nice in here, though. It's flat out tropical inside here. Jay Sullivan gives me the old thumbs up to turn the house up over there. See, he's like he's like a completely. I could never make it without him behind the scenes over there, man. That's just how that is. But our guest is Kris Cutt, the track and field coach at the Citadel. You got a lot of other things going on too. It's good to see you. How are things going?
They're going great. I'm really glad to be back. Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah.
We had a great time on the show last year, and I'm super excited about this year. We got a lot of things to talk about today. And like you said about Jay, I'm going to give him a shout-out. He does so much for us as well, and always behind the scenes. He doesn't want any credit, but, you know, between the website and the programs that he does, and he's just a great guy.
I'll tell you what, he's been enormously helpful to us. I mean, in any number of different ways, and in some cases, you know, above and beyond. So, yeah, I trumpet. I can pick on him good-naturedly just because, but he's always immeasurably helpful to all of us. Well, how are things going with track and field, and what are some things that people need to know that maybe they haven't heard with everybody being so wrapped up in all the other stuff going on?
We had a great spring. You know, that season going into May and then having nationals in June just really drags the season on. And, and last year we were very, you know, mature, and we were excited to have a good year. And we had 5 conference champs, which is on the high end for us, and had, you know, 2 national qualifiers, and went down to North Florida. And, you know, we arguably had one of the best Citadel athletes maybe of all time with Allie Ruffin, the volleyball track girl. And, you know, she had finished 18th as a junior, and we really thought last year was her chance. And unfortunately, even though she threw further, she was at the exact same 18th again, and you need to be top 12 to go to Oregon. But she had a great year. She broke our school record multiple times, and arguably is one of the greatest athletes the Citadel's ever seen.
You know, these are such unprecedented times in college athletics. So much has changed the last couple of years, and this is really primarily with regard to recruiting, roster building, all those things. Everybody knows how much, well, although not as much here, but how much these rosters at most places turn over year in and year out. How stable is yours, and how much are you able to retain players, which is now as important as recruiting them?
It's great. We love the culture that we've built, and we get to keep kids around. And it's funny that you mentioned that. We have one of our former school record holders in the pole vault at the sitting over there, Sam Bloomer, and he brought up that exact thing earlier. He said he had an opportunity to maybe go to a bigger school after he graduated from here, but he was so bought in to what we do here, and he really wanted one more shot to qualify for nationals and win another conference championship. So we feel really good about the culture that we've built, and we keep pressing that family mode where they got each other's backs, and they just love the experience. We try to make sure that they have the most positive cadet athlete experience they can have.
How is your roster stacked for this year? I mean, how much do you have in terms of experience, leadership level players, stuff like that, or is this one where you're really moving others into those roles?
It's a rebuild year, so we of those 5 conference champs, only 2 are back, and we have 28 freshmen. So it's going to be a really good opportunity for these kids to grow and make an impact right away as a freshman. And at the Citadel, that is how you kind of buy into staying all 4 years, because you're making an impact right away and getting an opportunity to compete against the best. And so these young men and women are really a very good recruit class, and I feel like they're going to make an impact right away.
You and I, before we got back with this segment, we were talking during the break about Bradley Jones, for one, who, of course, is a all-conference player on the football team and is a sprinter that has certainly done some winning for you, too.
Bradley's just one of those special athletes, and watching him block field goals or extra points shows me how good his start is in the 60 and the 100. But he was the fastest guy in the SoCon. He won the 100 and the 200, which has only been done a handful of times at the Citadel. And it's funny that you brought that up, because when we talk about the Hall of Fame induction ceremony here shortly, we're going to talk about another guy getting inducted that won the 100 and the 200 for the Citadel in the same year, Kenyon Doyle.
And, of course, those Hall of Fame ceremonies are coming up, and you're integrally involved in that. Let's talk a little bit about that.
So the Hall of Fame is grown over the years. It's one of the most prestigious events at the Citadel. We have almost 400 participants, and we induct 4 athletes every year and 2 honorary inductees. And this class is nothing but excellence. I'm super excited about getting to talk about the different people who got enshrined this year.
Lee Glaze and I actually emceed that last year, and it was an opportunity to get to see so many people that, I'm still relatively new here and meeting a lot of people, but it was a special event, and you could I think you get a little better understanding of the culture at the Citadel when you get around, groups of people like that, and you see the ones who really helped develop, shape, and maintain that culture over the years that really carries on today.
We love celebrating excellence, and this is the night where you get to see the best of the best. This is the ultimate goal. When you get recruited and when you walk through those gates, the ultimate goal is to get on that wall. We have 240 members right now, and the banquet went from getting a plaque at the parade on a Friday afternoon to going to the Marriott, where you've got 400 people with a nice buffet dinner, cocktail reception. Everybody dresses up. You got the BOV there. You got the president. You got the commandant. So you got all the different entities on campus all coming together to show that we are one team, one fight, and that we all work together.
One of the things that has always kind of impressed me since I got here, and look, I've made a couple of stops at other colleges along the way as a broadcaster, but it's how well you guys communicate interdepartmentally. I mean, as in one sports program to the next, and support each other one program to the next. That's a special quality here.
Can't be successful without working together, and that's why, especially at a school as small as ours, you have to capitalize on every resource. And so, having the admissions office, having the registrar's office, having the commandant's office, having the athletic department being such a tight group of individuals, these people go throughout the entire day trying to figure out how they can help us. And that's why these coaches were so blessed, and that's why we've stuck around so long, because we have a good support system.
We've talked a lot, and the press has talked a lot about, how college sports have changed, particularly in the football and basketball arenas, with all the money and all the rules and all the things that have changed. How does that affect things on your level? I mean, when you're a track and field coach at a D1 and a mid-major level school like this, how does that affect you? I mean, it's obviously changed the landscape dramatically across sports, period.
It really has, and you just got to be creative, right? We're all sticking together and figuring out ways to give these kids resources to compete. So we have to find a regionally closer meet, or we have to, figure out a way to maybe we go to the University of South Carolina, a Power 5 school, and they love inviting us because we help volunteer work the meets. And so this gives us an opportunity to compete against the best in the country an hour and a half down the road. So we're not staying in a hotel. So we're not, taking this most expensive trip, and then it gives us an opportunity to spend that money later on at the conference championship. Or last year we got to go to the Penn Relays, which was a great experience for a couple of our athletes.
I've often wondered, I think this pertains as much to football and basketball, but how much ultimately this may change some scheduling and promote more regional, as in within bus ride level games. I mean, in my mind, at least, I don't know the contractual things, but I don't know why, at the Citadel we couldn't play South Carolina State, for instance, in football, basketball, every sport every year.
You're seeing it happen more and more. And SC State now has a beautiful track facility, and they had their first meet there last year, and we went 45 minutes on the bus, didn't have to stay in a hotel, and you're back before it's dark. So these kids can actually have a social life too, instead of just getting back at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning coming back from Birmingham. So I think it's going to bring back those in-state rivalries, like with us with Wofford and Furman and SC State and USC Upstate. So it's really getting everybody back to the basics instead of just trying to travel as far as you can to compete against schools in the same town. Why not do it in that town?
Right. And you get the instance of, a lot of these kids played against each other at lower levels. There's a lot of, honestly, you have better opportunities for support at these games, fans from both sides, because they're geographically feasible trips to do. It just seems to me like logically that would be one of the next places all this would go. We'll certainly see. But
we hope so. I mean, at SC State, we had a ton of fans because people were able to make the drive. And when we go to Charleston Southern, we have a lot of people that show up. And the parents are able to be involved. And, it's nice when they come and get to see their kids compete at the Division I level.
Right. Really, really do appreciate it, Kris. It's great to see you as always. And what's anything we need to know before you go here?
The last thing I'd like to plug is, we leave registration open for the Hall of Fame dinner for Friday all the way till Thursday. Okay. And again, it's so important because the proceeds from this dinner go to a Hall of Fame scholarship recipient that is chosen by a Hall of Fame board. So each year it rotates among the NCAA sports, and we get an opportunity to represent this year as a wrestler, Carson DeRozier, who he won a conference championship last year, got to go to the NCAA tournament, and won his first round match. Wow. So he's going to do a speech. He's a Dean's List Gold Star recipient, and he's going to give a speech saying thank you for this opportunity. And so right now that scholarship is sitting at $350K. To be fully funded, we need 500, and so we're so close to the finish line. I really think between this year and next year, we can overcome that barrier and get this scholarship fully funded.
Well, fantastic. Really appreciate you coming up here, and obviously everything that you do, and best of luck to you in track and field, and we'll be rooting for you, man. We'll be keeping track, too.
Thank you so much. Go Dogs.
All right. That is Kris Cott, who, of course, is the track and field coach at the Citadel, also integrally involved at the Citadel Hall of Fame. And right here, we will take a timeout. On the other side of it, Coach Drayton will come back up here, and we'll set the scene for this game against Valdosta State. Dogs take on the Blazers this Saturday. That is a 1 o'clock pregame for us with a 2 o'clock kick at Johnson Haygood Stadium in the event you can't make it out. Even if you can make it out there, just bring your radio. Just bring your radio with you, man. That's a good way to do it. All right, we will take one more time out. Back with more Beyond the Barracks after this. You're listening to the Citadel Bulldogs Radio Network. And we're back with Beyond the Barracks at Over the Horizon Brewing here at 2200 Harriet Street. Brian Giffen along with Coach Drayton back up here now as we get set for the Dogs hosting Valdosta State this weekend. And again, I'm not going to beat it in the ground, but this is not your typical D2 program that's middling somewhere. This is one of the Cadillacs at that level, so to speak.
You're absolutely right. They are one of the Cadillacs of this level. Rich history. We spoke earlier about the bones of the program. Their DNA reads championship. When you talk about some of the coaches who've been there before, Kerwin Bell won a national championship at Valdosta State. He's now at Western Carolina. Chris Hatcher won a national championship at Valdosta. He's now the head coach at Sanford. You ready for this? I got some trivia for you. Dana Holgerson.
Yeah. Hal
Mumme. Kirby Smart.
I was Kirby Smart coach there, I knew.
Mike Leach and Will Muschamp. So it's a who's who of coaches.
Yeah, that's quite a tree of people who have been through there. And one of the most explosive offenses in all of D2. What jumps out to you when you study the film?
Oh, wow, speed. They have speed for days. The speed you can't coach, and they're so big inside. Their offensive and defensive line are massive, and they found these speed guys from down South Georgia. I think we call them DSGB, down South Georgia boys, and they can run.
How do you approach defending a quarterback like that? You know, here's another guy that extends plays and things like that. He also throws well on the run. Doesn't look like there's much in the way of weaknesses there. Is it to keep him in the box, try to keep some pressure on him thing?
Yeah, now they're playing two quarterbacks, and both of them are very similar. They're very similar to us as far as, you know, I would imagine the coach wants a bona fide starter, but one is just limited enough to where the other one can't, you know, ascend himself to the top. Their quarterbacks are very good. They can make all the throws. They can run. You know, so we have to put them in situations based upon what we've seen on film that makes them hesitate a second, and just that split second will give us opportunity to get after them. We want some more sacks, that's for sure. We're actually ranked 26 in the country in sacks right now.
Yeah, that's pretty good. When you look at them, what challenge does their tempo for one, and the spacing and things like that? What do they present for you as a challenge to your defense?
So they're very similar to a Samford offense, right? And that's why this guy got hired. It's in the same family of those who have come before us or came before them. So that speed, that what you can't coach, is a challenge. Their running backs are really good. So we need to be or make them be one-dimensional. We need to stop their run game. We have to. We cannot have a situation where they can run or pass. So we're going to commit to stopping the run game, to force these quarterbacks to throw while having eyes on the quarterback so he can't, you know, skirt out.
Speaking of quarterbacks, how are both of yours as we get ready for this game now? And I think Cooper's all right. He's had a few reps, but I'm talking about primarily the other two, of course.
Yeah, so they're a little more healthier than what they would have been if we would have played this past week. The bye week was at the right time for them physically. So I'm excited about the fact that they're feeling better. Even if it's not physically, mentally, they're feeling better because they were able to get away, go home, you know, say hi to mom and dad, be a son, be a big brother, be a little brother, be an uncle, be a human being. So I'm thankful for that.
You know, it's such a critical stat. I mean, it doesn't get talked about enough. But one of the things you guys did well last week was you won on first down a lot on the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, you always want to do that. That's all about being on schedule. If you don't win on first down, it throws the whole train off the tracks.
Absolutely correct. Literally, before I got here for the program, I was talking with our offensive staff, offensive coordinator, and some of the structuring and what we're doing at practice this week will have an emphasis on what I call P and 10. That's the opening of a series, and first and 10s within a series, or first and 5 because somebody jumped off sides, or first and 15. So we're placing an emphasis on that this week. We want to win that down. If you win that down, everything else is manageable.
How do you take or carry over the confidence? I mean, the best. Boy, coming out of that game, you've got to have a lot of reasons to believe and to be confident going into it, and that's half the battle, I think.
Well, for us, it's more than half the battle because that's what we've been fighting. And you heard the confidence in Saul Diaz's voice. I mean, it's just almost like a different human being from where we were after week 1 and week 3. So I'm excited for these young men, and the confidence is within, and it's my job as a leader to continue to churn and mix and create different confidence cakes each week for these guys.
Last non-conference tune-up, if you will. It's a heck of a tune-up against an opponent that good. But what are you looking for, or what are you hoping to see to prepare you now for the remaining conference grind that lies ahead?
So what we're looking for in this game, we want to leave this game feeling like we're ready to make a run in the conference. Our conference right now, Mercer's at the top. Everything else is kind of wide open. You have Furman right there behind Mercer. But we truly feel right now as it stands today that any conference game on our schedule, we should be in that game and have the opportunity to win in the fourth quarter. And that's going to happen this week, handling this opponent, doing it the right way. That's going to continue to feed, what this program needs and what our young men need to be successful.
And it's really about, I guess, emphasizing to you guys how to handle success and then build it into more, correct?
Yes, and you know what? We want to celebrate big things. We want to celebrate when we win. We want to celebrate good things. But at the same time, our mentality, and Saul talked about it, and this is what we're preaching in our rooms right now. We just need to go 1-0
right.
in everything we do. You have a test. Let's go 1-0. Win
right.
that test. You have study hall. Let's go 1-0 in study hall. You have, a formation, a SMI, an MRI. Let's go 1-0 on that MRI. And that is our mantra right now. That is our thought. And that is the blue-collar mentality
right.
that we've talked about and who we are and who we have to be to have success this year in 2025.
That's the win the day 1 minute at a time.
1 minute at a time. Sometimes it has to be 30 seconds.
Give me a couple of keys for taking on Valdosta State. Obviously, for one, all that speed. I'm sure that tackling in space, pursuit angles, some of those things will enter in there. But just give me a couple of keys generally as we sit here on Monday ahead of this game.
Yeah, so it always starts with this. We have to find a way to start fast, right? That has to happen. We are better when we start fast. We have to win what we call the middle eight.
Right.
The percentages shows when you win the middle eight, your chances of winning goes up 88%. You have to win the middle eight, and then we have to finish. Now, the byproducts of all of that is, on offense, we have to win first down. That's what we talked about earlier. On special teams, we have to create a big play. Our special teams has been sound, but that's not good enough for us, right? We want to be difference makers in special teams. So we have to create a big play. We want to create a half-court offense, full-court defense. And last but not least, on defense, which we refer to as code blue, we have to make them one-dimensional. If we do those things, we'll have the opportunity to win this game and celebrate at home.
And you'll have the home crowd with you. The first two home games haven't gone especially well, so you're looking to have a really good outing at home, too, and a fast start would go a long way toward getting that going.
Absolutely, you're right. And you know what? It's not an elephant in the room, and we talk about it openly. We have been beat right now at home 76-0, right?
Right.
I want my guys to hear that because it should pierce them a little bit. It should hurt them a little bit. It should say, you know what, Coach, we're gonna prove everybody wrong, and we're gonna go out there and do a great job. So we're excited about it. We don't shy away from it. We're leaning into the conversation, and we're looking forward to this contest this week.
Should be a really good crowd there, too. You guys have been out a little bit, and obviously we're just getting ready now for the stretch run of this season. This would be an important game to get that record back to 3-3.
Absolutely, and it's going to be a big, big weekend. It's Hall of Fame weekend. I know Kris already talked about it. We have 4 of the 6 inductees going into the Hall of Fame. They were former football players.
Yeah.
Duran Lawson, who I personally recruited and had the opportunity to coach, he is family to me. Kenyon Doyle, who was a dual sport athlete, track and football from my hometown of Moncks Corner, South Carolina. Mark Slauson, who's a local legend who played for the Giants. And then last but not least, Mark Nash. I tell everybody, I want to be like Mark Nash. He was a walk-on that's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
that is a goal. Yeah, so I'm so excited for these guys.
Going to be a big weekend at the Citadel, and obviously we will have pregame coverage in the event you can't get to Johnson Haygood. We'll have pregame coverage on radio at 1 o'clock, and the opening kick between the Dogs and the Blazers to follow at 2. I want to say thanks to our friends, as usual, here at Over the Horizon. I want to say thanks to our friends at Cutwater Spirits.
Definitely.
And thanks to, as much to all of our friends that came out here to hang out with us tonight. Thanks to Barry Casterland. Thanks to Saul Diaz. Thanks to Jay Sullivan over there enjoying a snack.
Our fearless leaders in the house, Art Chase and his beautiful wife.
Yeah,
thank you for coming out.
We've got dignitaries as far as the eye could see. And that will about wrap this episode of Beyond the Barracks. We will look forward to talking to you on Saturday as the Dogs take on the Blazers of Valdosta State. Until then, that'll do it for us. Thanks to Joe Mack back in our studios over in West Ashley, and we will talk to you Saturday, everybody. Good night, and go Dogs.
Go Dogs.